Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is your daily dose of America. What's going on, guys? Riley here from RP Productions, and today we're reviewing the Z06 Corvette with full bolt-ons, a cam, and a few other goodies. This one ought to be a fun one. Now, we'll get into the modifications on this car a little bit later, but all you need to know right off the bat is this car makes about 600 wheel horsepower, which is about 700 to the crank. Those numbers should equate for this car running low 10s in the quarter mile, which is probably going to scare the crap out of me here in a few minutes. I think this is the first car I've ever reviewed that going into it I'm actually scared to drive, which should be exciting, but definitely a weird feeling going into this review. A little more information about the car. This is a 2009 Z06 Corvette that weighs about 3,100 pounds, and like I said, it came stock with 505 horsepower, which clearly was not enough for this owner, who decided to make that 700 horsepower. He's got 285 width tires in the front with 6-piston Brembos and drilled rotors, and in the back we have 355 P0s with 4-piston Brembos and drilled rotors. 355s may seem like a lot, which they are. However, the owner of this car told me that this car will spin doing a 60 roll, so that is going to be exciting. The owner of this car can be found on Instagram right there with his Instagram name, so definitely go give him a follow and tell him RP sent you. We'll finish up the walk around of the car very shortly and show off the interior and talk about the modifications, but here's what we're working with. Now let's jump inside. Moving on to the interior, it's a pretty basic interior for a 2009 car, nothing really out of the ordinary. You get the nice Z06 badging here on the back of the headrest. This is the 2LZ package, so it does have leather and a few other goodies in here, but it's missing the nav. 6-speed manual, of course, just the way you want your Z06. A pretty generic Corvette steering wheel, and the rest of it, you know, pretty straightforward. And now for the fun part. Now we get to talk about mods. So we'll start off with the basics. The car has full bolt-ons, which are JBA long tube headers, a catless X pipe, and an Air Raid cold air intake, an MSD Atomic Air Force intake manifold, 102mm throttle body, 950cc injectors, reworked heads, and a BTR Stage 2 cam. Alright guys, well here we go, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's go ahead and take this 700 horsepower beast out on the road and see how she does. Alright, here we go, setting sail in the car. And the reason I say setting sail is because the first thing I noticed while driving this car is it's actually got a really big steering wheel for the size of the car, and holy crap, that exhaust is loud. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. So here's what the exhaust open, what it sounds like. All right, now close it. It backfires. Dude, that's awesome. Holy crap, that's cool. And so this is the exhaust closed, which, you know, there's a difference, but if I'm being completely honest, it's not a huge difference. The mufflers have basically a mod done to them where it's pretty much straight through. So you can claim it's stock exhaust, however, it's pretty much straight piped. It's great. Probably the loudest exhaust I think I've ever heard on a car. And by no means am I complaining about that. It sounds glorious. Here's a second gear pull. Good God. Oh my. Dude. All right, forget it. I'm kind of speechless on that one. I don't know what to say. I really don't. You know, I think if you've got about $45,000 and you're looking for that one car that will, you know, A, like I said, scare the crap out of you, and B, just make you feel like a little kid while driving it, I think there's really only one option, and that would be buy a Z06 Corvette and you will have the time of your life. my God. Dude, this is so much fun. Wow. LS swap the world. Everyone needs this. That is so cool. I'm just so giddy while driving it. It's just so hard to like put into words the experience that this car is. And that's what this car is when you're driving it. It's a true experience. It's not just point A to point B and you drive a car. It's like you get in this, if you wanted to daily drive it, cool, but if not, it's like it's a special thing every time you would hop in this car, go drive it. I mean, I don't know how this couldn't put a smile on your face. This is something else. So now for the actual true driving characteristics of this car. How is it to drive? Well, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the review, the steering wheel's pretty large. It's, I'm still kind of shocked by that. Also, the shifter, he's got an MGW short throw shifter, which is probably the shortest throw shifter I have ever felt, but it does feel really good. You definitely know when you're going into gear. And then as far as, the cornering abilities on this car, yeah, it's a straight line rocket, but it can corner really damn well. I mean, it's a 3,100 pound Corvette. I mean, it's kind of a given. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and sell the Camaro now, buy one of these, because that is so much fun. Wow. Oh, yep, I can definitely jump on the Z06 bandwagon now and understand why the owners loved their car so much. So speaking of that, I was actually doing a research assignment for school last night, and I came across this chart, basically, and the statistic was the #1 car that owners would buy again was a Tesla Model S. The #2 car that owners would buy again was a Corvette. I understand why. These cars have such a strong following, and it's for good reason. That's because they are great cars, and when you think about 700 horsepower for $45,000, I mean, like, there's just not much out there that can make you feel this way. And it's just, dude, if you got 45 grand and you want a fast car, buy a Z06 Corvette. That's all I gotta say to that one. Sure, the interior, it's not the nicest place to be. It's a 2009 interior. I mean, it's about on par with everything else from 2009. Also, as you can probably notice, the interior is, a pretty loud place to be, but that just kind of adds to the experience. It's not meant to be, a BMW or a Lexus. It's meant to be an experience, and that it does well. Well, this ought to sound interesting. Yep. Yep. Wow, this exhaust is like, it's just like a freaking monster truck is right behind you, and it's just roaring the whole time. And it's great. As much as I'd like to find something negative to say about this car, and they're like, oh, the interior is not the best, like, who cares? It does everything you'd want it to do. Everything's not, I mean, everything you touch is leather wrapped, so it's not like it's like a cheap interior. It's just kind of, it's outdated, we'll say that. But I can tell you, you will not mind it at all if you buy one of these or ride in one or whatever. It's just like, you forget about any type of negative thing in this car, because the good just outweighs the bad 100 to 0. Damn is like the one word. If you had to describe this whole experience in one word, damn or wow. Both are pretty good ones. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed driving it. It's like one of those cars that it's going to be embedded in my head for the rest of my life. How much of an experience this car truly is. I mean, it's different than anything else I've ever driven. So with that being said, definitely go follow the owner of this car on Instagram. He truly deserves more followers for this beauty of a car that he has. He's done incredibly well on the build. I mean, I don't think I would change a single thing if I owned this car. So guys, like always, thank you for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Take it easy. Man, I bet your neighbors love you.
Oh, yeah. I called the cops twice.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Dude, you're making me want to mod my car like ASAP.
It's a whole different story.
I was like, oh, I'll just do full bolt-ons, but shoot, now it's like, all right, I'll pro charge it. there's a Ferrari.
Slow.
Come back.